come into this class, I'm excited to learn. I feel joyful to be back.
I have an inclusive classroom with students of lots of different needs, and the different learning styles that we have going on really allows for an opportunity of open-mindedness and acceptance of one another. My students and I create a bond of trust.
It's okay to make mistakes in our class. She always says, here, maybe you can try this strategy or something. Her class is a very relaxing place to learn. She always helps us if we're stressful. It's like tying a shoe. Even when we get into a knot, she can help us out of that. Any knot. She's like the type of teacher that likes her students' opinions on things.
So we have to think, how do we know that this, when you get to know a student on a level as far as what their interests are, what their background is, and what goals they have for themselves, you can have an impact on what they're gonna do going forward.
Since I had such a strong connection with her, I wouldn't be afraid to go ask her for help.
Where do we need a comma? Yes, high five, good job. Perfect.
When I was in 3rd grade, I had Miss Segovia. She really helped me with my multiplication tables because it was really hard, but together we found out how to make it easier for me to learn them.
That moment when a student believes in themselves, you can see it in their eyes, and they get so excited about the opportunity that they know that they have created for themselves. That is my favorite moment of every day. I always tell my students that there's a little Miss Segovia sitting on their shoulder, and that Miss Segovia is reminding them, you can do this, because I want them to remember no matter where they go in life that if they put their mind to something, they can do that. And that effort and that persistence will really take them places.
That's what you need to say there.
Miss Siegel made me feel so confident and proud of myself. She's so energetic and fun. She always lights up the room. She knows how to get the work done and get the work done in a fun manner.
She cares about every single one of us. She inspires every single one of us.
I've been teaching for 17 years. I love my job because I love working with students. I love seeing the light go off. I love their quirky questions.
And I'm the type to ask a lot of questions. So for me to have that personalized attention was really great, and I can see her genuine care and compassion for all of her students. And I think she has so much energy and enthusiasm about teaching and about really giving her students the best experience they can have.
When Principal Dr. Woodward gave me this job, I took it upon myself to make sure this school was going to be the best school in the county. And when she asked me to be the basketball coach, I think that was a delight to me to really shine. Because then the kids start to get to know me outside of just being a building service manager. Now I'm your coach. Pass! Great pass, let's go Black!
During practice, we do like layups and everything, we work on shots, but then we scrimmage. He treats everyone like one of his kids.
Mr. Ricketts, you're like a father to me. I appreciate everything you do for me. Thank you.
You're right. Some of the girls 2 years ago never knew how to play basketball, but now they're some of the best basketball players I've ever coached. I've been coaching basketball a long time. And we all made one goal. We will be a family, and we will win as a family, and we will lose as a family.
Family on 3, 1, 2, 3, family!
He made me more confident in how I play. He's always telling me, just do your best, just give it your all. Mr. Ricketts talks to everybody. He talks to them about their grades. He wants everyone to be at the top of their grades.
When I had a test that I missed, he literally came into my Empower Hour, took me to my math class, and made me get my test done, and he knew my test score before I knew it.
I want to make sure all students are doing well in school because school is important. You need school to get where you want to go in life. Sometimes I meet with Beth Thomas and go over the students' grades. She might come to me and say, Mr. Ricketts, there's a couple of students I need you to check on. If it's work missing, I want that work turned in. I will find that student, we'll have a little one-on-one talk, we'll find out what's going on in that subject. A lot of people might say it's not my job, but you know what? These kids are our future.
He really wants us to be a great person and be great people throughout life, and this is where it starts.
On your mark! Get set! Go!
This is the Girls on the Run New Balance 5K. I'm running with a wonderful young lady named Excel.
Girls on the Run is #1! President!
Once you start running, it's really fun. You don't even think about all the hard work.
I am Excel's coach and I'm her running buddy. We're gonna run sort of tandem today, so that way I can give her cues while we're running, and so I can tell her when there's step down curbs or there's runners in front of us.
Girls on the Run 5K really symbolizes a lot of what Excel's gone through in these few years she's been in our country. The starting line when she got to the United States. She had a lot of struggles, and it was hard for her at the beginning to learn English, to be in a new country, be in a new school.
2 obstacles in my life are my vision and moving to a new country.
I was told I had a new student, and that student had just arrived from Cameroon. So after my assessment with her, I could tell that there was something wrong. We were able to get her down to Children's Medical Center in Washington, D.C., and that is where she first found out that she had Stargardt's disease, which is the most common form of macular degeneration. After she had found out, she came to school crying. I gave her a hug and reassured her that she wouldn't be going through this alone. I told her that I would be talking to her about a toolbox of learning, and I was going to teach her many things, and that she could breathe a little easier because I would be coming in on a weekly basis to work with her, and it was going to be okay.
Mrs. Weisfield is my vision teacher, and she helps me with the computer.
I brought in special software to help her enlarge what was on the screen. For different tasks, you use different things. She might use her magnifier to do one task at school, but then another task she may need to use her talking calculator. And another tool that she keeps in her box might be the OT light that she uses when the teacher turns out the lights. And you build upon those skills.
Excel was immediately identified when they came to register at the Rockingham Road Center as a potential ESOL student. So she was placed in ESOL and received ESOL services, and because of that she was able to quickly pick up the language.
It's really just amazing how fast she's learned English and how fast she's become an accelerated student all around. She's advanced in everything.
Excel is excelling. She scored advanced on the Maryland State assessments. She is in the accelerated class for reading. She's also taking a grade level above math with success. She's one of our star performers, and she's a school leader.
I like math, reading, science, social studies, chorus. I'm a patrol. I might want to become a writer or a doctor.
Excel has a tremendous amount of support. We are all in great communication. The home, the school, the vision teacher, the ESOL counselor, we're all working as one unit to get her to move forward.
Montgomery County Public Schools has been able to bring this family close to the school and to make them understand the school system and the importance of parents being there for their kids.
The school system has given Excel all the supports and materials to help her with her vision problem. They've brought new technologies into her life, which we would never have been able to afford. For this, I am so very thankful.
Excel and I have a great relationship. I run with her. She's my running buddy, so we trained for the 5K together. So there was many days after school that we just ran and we talked the whole time. I got to know her. I got to know about what Cameroon is like and how she had to leave her dog behind and how that made her feel. And we have a bond and we trust each other. I know that she's always going to give her 100%, and she knows that I'm always going to be there for her, whether it be a hard math problem or a 5K race. She is able to overcome any challenge. She's going to be finishing elementary school, the finish line, really above and accelerated and advanced, and it really speaks towards her hard work, her family's hard work, and all of her teachers' hard work.
Emotionally, I was feeling very proud of myself because I just ran a 5K.
She's had a wonderful circle of staff here at the school that have just embraced this child as they embrace all the other kids.
The children respect her tremendously, as do the adults, for the way she carries herself. She gets more than enough hugs every day, and she gives them back.
To all my teachers and everyone who helped me, thank you, and I will always do my best.
My mother thought that it was very important to teach the Holocaust to young people because she felt that history seems to continue to repeat itself. And by starting with young people, She could teach how important it is for human beings to take care of each other.
We're standing here at the site of Flora M. Singer Elementary School. It's opening this August 2012. Flora M. Singer, she was a remarkable human being. She dedicated her life to teaching and educating others.
So now in Denver, please welcome Flora Singer.
What else is there to do if one person can't help another?
You need other people and other people need you. And whether those people are Jews or Christians or Muslims or whatever.
And because of my story, I have retained great hope in humanity.
This is the story of the remarkable life of Flora M. Singer.
My mother was born in Antwerp, Belgium on August 16th, 1930. My mother was always an avid reader, and she loved school, and she really valued education.
Flora's education and childhood came to a frightening end in May of 1940 as the horrors of World War II entered Belgium, and the Nazis began rounding up Jewish families like Flora's. To escape the concentration camps for 5 years, Flora and her family went into hiding, aided by the heroic deeds of people like Benedictine monk Father Bruno Reinders, who helped save hundreds of Jewish children.
I knew that you're not supposed to lie, that lying is a very bad thing. But since there were very bad people who wanted to hurt me because I was Jewish, I had to lie and pretend I was not Jewish. I lived in very great fear.
They ended up staying in fields, barns, different convents. The one event that she relayed to me was that the Nazis were coming and they had knocked on the entrance to the convent, and the Mother Superior rushed them down to the cellar where they would store the fruits and vegetables. And the Nazis would come down with their bayonets and poke around the bags, and they had to keep absolutely quiet. And because of the people that came to her rescue, her family's rescue, and put their own lives in danger to save 3 little girls that they didn't even know, she felt strongly that even in the midst of one of the darkest periods of human history, in the midst of evil, there is goodness.
After the war, Flora and her family reunited as they immigrated to the United States. Flora quickly learned the English language and went off to work to help support her family. Several years later, Flora met and married her husband, Jack Singer.
Well, she was a very remarkable woman. She was a woman of valor. Anyone that she touched or came in contact with never forgot her.
They had 2 children, a boy and a girl. Flora gave her children all the opportunities for learning that were taken away from her. As her children grew, Flora decided to pursue her dream of attaining a college education. She earned a master's degree in French language literature from the University of Maryland and began her 14-year career with Montgomery County Public Schools teaching French and German languages.
Flora had an uncanny ability to connect with people, especially children. So she was at the University of Maryland one afternoon, and she had completed her classes for the day and walked back to her car, and she saw a flyer on her windshield that was denying the Holocaust. My mother said that she, felt a cold chill down her spine when she saw that.
This was a turning point for Flora, who then dedicated her life to teach the world about the Holocaust.
And she felt it was very important to keep that memory alive and to let people know that it did happen, that she had lost family and she had lost friends.
To ensure that the history of the Holocaust would never be forgotten, Miss Singer collaborated with many survivors, to include Nessie Godin, a survivor of the Nazi concentration camps.
It's not easy. It's not easy to open your heart and your soul and think and share things what happened to your own family. Flora and I felt that the world needs to know, not just from people that were killed or survived the terrible camps, but also how children were saved. And we dedicated ourselves to teach the world and to remember those that perished. Flora and I, went on behalf of the Holocaust Museum all over the country.
Flora traveled the country speaking about her journey. She appeared on TV and in documentaries sharing her story. Flora also worked with the Montgomery College Humanities Institute to promote racial tolerance and understanding.
My mother spoke with two other teachers, Sue Chotel and Bob Hines, and the three of them worked together to develop an accredited course on teaching the Holocaust to Montgomery County teachers so that they in turn can teach the subject of the Holocaust to high school students.
The focus of the course was to make teachers comfortable with the content and the kinds of questions that students might ask. I believe that we were one of the first, if not the first, school systems to offer a Holocaust program, and Flora was an integral part of starting that program.
At the urging of two elementary school children who heard her speak, Miss Singer penned her memoirs in a book titled Flora, I Was But a Child. Her goal, to instill in children of all ages the importance of human compassion and tolerance.
So with no further ado, we've had a motion, we've had a second. All those in favor of naming Down County Consortium School Flora M. Singer Elementary School, it is unanimous. And hopefully there'll be many generations of students who will say, well, who was Flora M. Singer? And that lesson will touch them and inspire them and guide them on their way.
My hope is that the students here will learn about the power of living a positive life, even in the face of horrific circumstances, and that's what Flora Singer did.
Because not only honoring Flora, you're not only recognizing the Holocaust, but you're also honoring all teachers of Montgomery County.
It's also the first time a public school in the United States is being named after a Holocaust survivor. It will carry on Flora's legacy of kindness and human tolerance.
The impact that she made on the entire world, that's what I'm most proud of.
I loved Flora because she was a wonderful human being, and that is the most important.
Going into the initial IEP meeting, I was worried that the team had already decided which services they were going to give him, and I was concerned that they wouldn't be the right services, even though I wasn't really sure what the right services would be. I was very nervous that the team would just tell us where he was going to go, and then we wouldn't have any input or suggestions or be allowed to ask questions about that decision. But in reality, it turned out they wanted to discuss with us what some of the options were and get our feedback about what we thought would be a good fit for our son.
But we're putting some supports and intervention in place.
There is a misconception that teams predetermine outcomes of what a student's IEP is going to look like.
I know we invested in what?
The federal law says that we cannot predetermine student placement or student issues prior to parents being participants. So our job really is to look at the data that we have and be prepared to share that data, but not have made a predetermination of what we're going to do next for a child.
Our job as a team is to construct information and put it together in a concise format so that at the table we can present an efficient, effective way to discuss and make decisions together. Every decision that we make, parents are involved in.
The IEP process is a complicated process, and so parents are nervous about whether we really understand their child.
I was rather upset initially because I felt like I didn't have input into my child's decision-making process. But during the process, I kind of understood that I do have a voice as a parent to help determine the placement of my child and what is needed for them, because as a parent, I know my child best. I spend more time with them.
During instruction, his attention is
a data chat meeting is an opportunity for us to share specific data on student performance, and it's composed of a multidisciplinary team that involves the IEP team members, which may be special education teachers, related service providers, or EMT members, which involves administrators and guidance counselors and our staff development teacher and our reading specialist.
Initially, I thought that anytime the staff gets together to discuss my child, that I was required to be there. But I believe the staff needs an opportunity to get together to look at all these different aspects of your child so that they can form a proposal.
Great question. The way the homeschool model...
The purpose is to see where's the child now, where do we expect the child to be, and how do we close the gap? What are those things we need to do? And we don't make decisions about special education without parent involvement. We're collecting the data to share with the parent, not to make a decision prior to the meeting.
And I take my team of special education teachers and we look at the Common Core curriculum and we look at where the student is performing and where they need to be. And from there we come up with goals and objectives to support the student.
I was born in Mexico City and I always wanted to be a teacher. I saw that there was an opportunity to come to the United States, and to my shock and surprise I got the admission saying you had been admitted to the University of Illinois and you have an internship. That means that I was going to be teaching Spanish and at the same time I was going to be getting my master's in education. And there I was very lucky because I met my husband.
So I went to the YMCA on a Saturday evening when they had a graduate student mixer, and I met Senorita Teresa Rios from Mexico. And she was a very attractive girl, and so I made an effort to see her again and again and again. We had our 4 children in reasonably rapid succession, about 4.5 years between number 1 and number 4.
So my first job was teaching Spanish. So I was 15 years being in the classroom, being a teacher.
An interesting phenomenon occurred that the underprivileged of Mexico and Central America and Latin America came here.
And I was very lucky that the ESOL department at that time had these positions of parent resource teacher in which you have to be working with the parents, because working with the parents is very important. They have a lot of barriers, especially the language. So we help them to how to navigate the school system, how to communicate with the school staff. The reason I work with the students is because, you see, when a parent tells me, you know, Mrs. Gonzalez or Mrs. Perez, whoever, you know, I need help with my child, I have to know that child. How am I going to help her with Juan or Pedro Maria if I don't know Juan, Pedro, Maria?
So every time I had any kind of not only discipline issue,